Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video where I'm going to do the review that I mentioned about yesterday when I did the Raw and SmackDown review on the Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho match at the Wrestle Kingdom 12 event this past week, or last week on January 4th. Giving you guys my personal opinion, what I saw on YouTube.com for this full match that I saw that was over 30 minutes long. Honestly, it was a good story that was told in the middle of the ring between these two opponents. These guys really put on a hell of a show, action-wise. Not an Okada-Omega match quality, but it was definitely well done. There was a lot of attitude. There was a lot of storytelling made in the middle of the ring. There was a struggle of power, of dominance within the match between the two guys. They both perform well. Chris Jericho still has it to this day at his age, that he's over 40 years old, and the man still can put on a performance like he did when he was in his 20s and 30s. This guy is unbelievable. One, he maintains also, another thing that he does is he maintains his body very well. He's not a guy that gets injured very often, and I think he just has good conditioning on his body and doesn't take too many risks that he knows he might not be able to do. So quite frank with you guys, this match was definitely the match, probably the match of the night. I don't think there was a match better than this one, more likely, unless the IWGP Heavyweight Championship was better, which I did not check. But I more than likely will, at the end of this week, probably within the weekend by Saturday or Sunday, I will have ownership of the New Japan Wrestling streaming channel and be a subscriber once again, because at one point I did it for a month. I loved it, but I just didn't want to spend the money to keep it with all the other subscriptions that I had. I wasn't making as much money as I am now. Thankfully, I can't afford that, so I'm more likely going to go about trying to do that if I want. So I'll definitely let you guys know one way or another in the next video that I do. So, getting into the review on this match, as I already mentioned, a very good story was told between the two competitors. They were both very vicious, especially Chris Jericho with some of the Japanese fans. He actually was flicking them off, basically being a complete heel in this whole entire match. Totally discrediting and being totally disrespectful to the Japan culture and the wrestling industry in Japan in itself. He basically was trying to play WWE versus New Japan Wrestling. That's really where they were getting at with this. And quite frank with you, it was pretty freaking crazy, to be honest with you, and a great way to get heat on Chris Jericho. Jericho did an outstanding job in this match. Kenny Omega played the favorite, even though in reality, in their realm of New Japan Wrestling, he is actually the heel with the Bullet Club. So with this, it was completely role reversal for Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, though, eventually at some point ended up winning the match with a cradle shock kind of maneuver done by Kenny Omega. It looked like a lot like Chris Sabin's finisher, if you ever watched him in TNA or even in ROH. But he finished him off with the move that looked like Chris Sabin's cradle shock, puts him onto the slams him right on top of the steel chair and picks up the victory. 1, 2, 3. Now, my discredit to this match itself, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I think they tried too hard to use hardcore rules in this match. These two guys are so well equipped of putting on a 5-star match for you without no disqualifications that it's crazy. This match should have been just a singles match. There shouldn't have been no need for hardcore rules in this match. These guys are not needed for hardcore rules. They can get it done with just standard rules where it's just one versus the other, who's the best. Not, let's go ahead, brawl through the arena, and on top of it, hit each other with chairs and put the other guy through a table. That's not what they needed to do in this match. That's what kind of put me a little bit down towards this match. But wrestling quality by both of these performers, outstanding. I have no dislike to either one of these guys. I do not dislike this match. Don't get me wrong when I'm talking about the hardcore segments of this match that it was bad. I'm just saying I don't particularly think it was needed. So that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys thought about what I said with the hardcore rules. Do you guys think that they could have done without the hardcore rules, or do you think it was more worthy and more useful for them to do that? Now, there is a flip side of this, and I'll get to the flip side about the hardcore rules. That I do understand why they went to this route. Leading up to this event, Chris Jericho was attacking Kenny Omega from blindsiding him and everything else, as well as Kenny Omega at that press conference that Chris Jericho had. So, at the end of the day, there was some bad blood between these two. They both want, Kenny Omega wanted revenge. Jericho wanted revenge when he did his press conference. So, more than anything, the storyline-wise, it made sense to put it in a hardcore match. But do I really believe it was necessary? Absolutely not, because these guys could have put on a great show regardless without the hardcore rules. Trying to think here. Some of the things that Kenny Omega did was pretty outstanding, especially some of the flips that he did. That one flip outside the ring, hitting Chris Jericho. The one thing I didn't like was the fact that they were all over the fucking crowd, in the middle of the crowd, hitting each other. It reminded me too much of WWE shit in some aspects of this match. But at the same time, WWE's not always done horrible hardcore matches. It's just that it reminded me too much of WWE resemblance of WWE. I don't want to be reminded of WWE, whether it was in its glory days or now. I can't stand WWE anymore. I review WWE because it's the only real big-time wrestling company in the United States of America. So there ain't nothing much hope for a wrestling fan like myself to look at. I mean, we got ROH and we got TNA. They're both fucking shit, both of ROH and TNA. They have some pretty outstanding performers, but at the end of the day, is it really worth going all crazy over? No, because if it was so damn great, there'd be tons of people flocking to ROH and TNA and making them competitors with WWE. But New Japan Wrestling is where it's at. If you want an alternative look into wrestling, this is it. These guys performed very well. They're both American wrestlers, and they put on a hell of a match. That is my overall consensus and critical opinion about this match between these two guys. If you guys like the video, please hit the subscribe button. Step way too ahead of myself here. If you like the video, hit the like button. Leave a comment down below at what you thought about my opinion of this review on this match. And on top of that, guys, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and have a great night.